Cosplay Kitchen. Today we are making Asian-inspired meatballs, and I'm cosplaying Gadget from Rescue Rangers. So hop on in, join the party, and let's get started. So overall, this is a fairly simple recipe. One thing that's really great about it is that once the actual meatballs are cooked, they freeze really well. So if you're looking for something this summer to take to a pool party, take tailgating, whatever it may happen to be, this is a really great make-ahead recipe. So we're gonna be starting out with just 1 pound of ground pork. In this case, I find that a little bit of a leaner pork tends to work a little bit better just because of the way that we're going to be cooking them. So trust me on this one. In this case, a little leaner is a little bit better. So now we're going to be adding in some panko breadcrumbs, ginger and garlic, the white of a green onion, and then finishing it off with just some salt and pepper, because you can never be without your salt and pepper. Remember to not be too stingy with your salt. We're just gonna mix this up real quick, roll it into some balls, and then we're heading over to the stove. We're gonna start our stove out at a medium heat. Now, like I said, we don't wanna have a lot of fat in our pork with this. However, just to help to keep them from sticking too badly, we do need a small amount of oil. For this one, I prefer to use avocado oil. The flavor works and the smoke point is high enough to help everything work just right. You're gonna wanna sear these on all sides for roughly about 1 to 2 minutes, depending on the size of your meatball and your pan. All pans are not made equally, so you need to decide for your pan as you're looking at it. If the meatball struggles to release, it needs to stay put for a little bit longer. Best way I found to move meatballs around is to give them a little bit of a lift with a spatula and then a turn with some tongs. Yes, it's one extra dish, but it'll help to keep your meatballs fully intact as they're really starting to sear. Now here's where things get a little bit interesting and what makes them different from other meatballs. This is also one of the 2 keys to the flavor of these meatballs. You are going to get the brine for your favorite spicy pickles. And when they're almost fully cooked, I say almost because you don't want to overcook them and they're going to be in the pan a little bit longer. So when they're almost done, go ahead and toss in roughly about a quarter to a third of a cup of this pickle brine. As it begins to reduce, pickle brines tend to have a fair amount of sugar and it's going to begin to create this really fantastic spicy glaze. Keep the meatballs moving. That's one of the keys to this. If you don't keep them moving, they're not going to get nicely glazed and they're going to get burnt on one side. So keep moving as it reduces more and more, and once it starts to look like a true glaze, that is when you want to remove your meatballs from the heat, plate them up because they're ready to go. It's a great make-ahead recipe. Once the meatballs are all ready to go, instead of cooking them, you just pop them in the freezer and they'll stay good for up to about 3 months. Now to finish these off, I made a quick sauce with mayonnaise, ponzu, and sriracha. Depending on whether you like things to be a little more salty or a little bit more spicy, that ponzu and sriracha can move up and down quite a bit. But it's absolutely a mandatory thing for this recipe because it's the second thing that really sends the flavor up when you have them. In our house, we like them a little bit more on the spicy side. So, there's that sriracha. So choose how you want it for your family, because every family is gonna have a little bit of a different taste. So hope you had a good time. If you did, be sure to like, maybe think about subscribing, and don't eat yellow snow.